Hello everybody, Big Book Breakdown with Karen. I want to read to you, we just finished There Is a Solution, one of my favorite chapters, and a step one reading, and so we're going to go right into page 30, which is More About Alcoholism, chapter 3. I am telling you, between There Is a Solution and More About Alcoholism, well, in the doctor's opinion, three of the most powerful chapters you could possibly read. More About Alcoholism is amazing. And so it might take me more than 2 times to get through this chapter because I'm going to stop and talk as we go. Okay? I'm going to read it and discuss it at the same time. I really want you to get your teeth into this, right? This understanding. What I talk about with alcoholism, sometimes people think it's very alien to them. They've never heard of it before, and I'm not sure why, because it's in the big book. So let's talk about More About Alcoholism. Page 30, I'm reading out of the 4th edition. Remember, if you don't know about the editions and all that, go back to the very beginning of Big Book Breakdown. I started at the beginning of the book at the preface, and I talked about the books themselves, okay? And the differences between the editions and blah, blah, blah. And then we read the foreword. So this is a really great way to study the book. I know there's lots of ways to study the book, but this is just one more way, okay? So let's read more about alcoholism. Most of us have been unwilling to admit we were real alcoholics. No person likes to think he is bodily and mentally different from his fellows. Right there, underline bodily and mentally. Not just bodily, mentally, okay? Therefore, it is not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we could drink like other people. The idea that somehow, someday, we will control and enjoy his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. Obsession, underline that. The greatest obsession is thinking we're going to drink like other people. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people or presently may be has to be smashed. Underline smashed. We alcoholics are men and women who have lost the ability to control our drinking. We know that no real alcoholic ever recovers control. Ever is italicized. When any word in here is italicized, it's important. All of us felt at times we were regaining control, but such intervals, usually brief, were inevitably followed by still less control, which led to pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. We are convinced to a man that alcoholics of our type are in the grip of a progressive illness. Over any considerable period of time, we get worse, never better. Okay? We are like men who have lost their legs, they never grow new ones. Neither does there appear to be any kind of treatment which will make alcoholics of our kind like other men. We have tried every imaginable remedy. In some instances, there has been brief recovery, followed always by a still worse relapse. Okay, you've seen that before in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. People call themselves chronic relapsers. Physicians who are familiar with alcoholism agree there is no such thing as making a normal drinker out of an alcoholic. Science may one day accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet. Okay, so if you say, well, my Uncle Jim, he drank, he was, oh my God, he was out of control, and then he quit, and then he started drinking again, and he's fine. Maybe he wasn't an alcoholic. Maybe he was just a heavy drinker. Okay? Despite all we can say, many who are real alcoholics are not going to believe they are in that class. By every form of self-deception and experimentation, they will try to prove themselves exceptions to the rule. Therefore non-alcoholic. If anyone who is showing inability to control his drinking can do the right about face and drink like a gentleman, our hats are off to him. Heaven knows we've tried hard enough and long enough to drink like other people. It's a little hot in here. Here are some of the methods we have tried. Drinking beer only, limiting the number of drinks, never drinking alone, never drinking in the morning, drinking only at home, never having it in the house, never drinking during business hours, drinking only at parties, switching from scotch to brandy, drinking only natural wines, agreeing to resign if ever drunk on the job, taking a trip, not taking a trip, swearing off forever with and without a solemn oath, taking more physical exercise, reading inspirational books, going to health farms and sanitariums, accepting voluntary commitment to asylums. We could increase the list ad infinitum. We do not like to pronounce any individual as alcoholic, but you can quickly diagnose yourself. Step over to the nearest barroom and try some controlled drinking. Try to drink and stop abruptly. Try it more than once. It will not take long for you to decide if you are honest with yourself about it. It may be worth a bad case of jitters if you get a full knowledge of your condition. I never tell people to do this because they might die and not come back. I suggested this once and it didn't go well. So I don't do that anymore. I'll say, you can go out, but you might not make it back. Literally. Though there is no way of proving it, we believe that early in our drinking careers, most of us could have stopped. But the difficulty is that few alcoholics have enough desire to stop while there is yet time. Sorry if I seem distracted. It's just because all these banners come up on my phone when I'm trying to record, and I want to record in my car because I don't get interrupted, and yet I'm getting interrupted. Okay. The difficulty is that few alcoholics have enough desire to stop while there is yet time. We have heard of a few instances where people who showed definite signs of alcoholism were able to stop for a long period because of an overpowering desire to do so. Here is one. A man of 30 was doing a great deal of spree drinking. He was very nervous in the morning after these bouts and quieted himself with more liquor. He was ambitious to succeed in business, but saw he could get nowhere if he drank at all. Once he started, he had no control whatever. He made up his mind that until he had been successful in business and had retired, he would not touch another drop. An exceptional man, he remained bone dry for 25 years and retired at the age of 55. After a successful and happy business career, then he fell victim to the belief which practically every alcoholic, I shouldn't have looked away, has, that his long period of sobriety and self-discipline had qualified him to drink as other men. Out came his carpet slippers and a bottle. In 2 months, he was in a hospital, puzzled and humiliated. He tried to regulate his drinking for a while, making several trips to the hospital. Then, gathering all his forces, he attempted to stop altogether and found he could not. Every means of solving his problem, which money could buy, was at his disposal. Every attempt failed. Though a robust man at retirement, he went to pieces quickly and was dead within 4 years. This case contains a powerful lesson. Most of us have believed that if we remain sober for a long stretch, we could thereafter drink normally. But here is a man who at 55 years found he was just where he had left off at 30. We have seen the truth demonstrated again and again. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Commencing to drink after a period of sobriety, we are in a short time as bad as ever. If we are planning to stop drinking, there must be no reservation of any kind, nor any lurking notion that someday we will be immune to alcohol. I think I'm going to stop right there. I don't want to make it so long I lose you. So this man realized when he was young, wow, I shouldn't drink. I'm never going to be able to make the money and do the things I want to do if I'm hungover. So he quit. And he quit for what did it say, 20 years, 30 years? And he went on with his career. He probably white-knuckled it, right? And then when he retired, he went, okay, that's my chance to relax and enjoy my hard work. So he got out his carpet slippers, he grabbed a bottle, and he was dead in 4 years. Like within a few months, he went to the hospital. Like it got bad fast. Alcoholism centers in your mind. It's a mental illness. So while you may stop treating it, he stopped treating it with alcohol for years during his whole career. But he treated it, I believe, with work. He probably was a workaholic. He probably wasn't available at home. He probably was working all the time. He probably grew a great company, but his life was not that great, most likely. You know, he found a different way to treat his alcoholism, probably with work. So he was, you know, he was abstinent, but it didn't go away. It doesn't go away. It was there. It was just waiting for him. And that's the thing. It is a crazy illness. So that's a really good example to start with. I also like that it goes through all the different ways we try to, you know, before we really decide we got a problem, we, you know, stop drinking shots, you know, before 4. You know, we only drink on the weekend. We're only going to drink at night. We're going to only have drinks on Saturday night when we go out to dinner. We're going to go on a trip. We're going to move. And if I move, I know I won't drink like I do now. And the problem with this, everywhere you go, there you are. So I like the whole beginning of this chapter. It's very meaty. There's lots of stories. So we're going to go through it, just little pieces at a time. But really think about that story. Understand that once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. This is not about the drinking. This is about the thinking. There's 2 parts, remember? Mental and physical. All right? So I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Love ya. Bye.